Hey guys, Eddie here with a film I love. May the 4th is Star Wars Day. May 2018 will also see the theatrical release of Solo, A Star Wars Story, the second Star Wars anthology film following the reasonably well-received Rogue One. While neither is overtly referred to as such, it should be noted both these films are in fact prequels. It's no secret most people have fairly strong feelings towards the Star Wars prequels. I myself have even taken a shot at them here on this channel. Nevertheless, I thought I'd take this opportunity to defend my favourite entry in the trilogy, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Before you all stop watching, I know love is a fairly strong word, and in this instance probably a slightly inaccurate one, but it's the name of the series. What you gonna do? There is no nuance on the internet.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Before we begin, be warned this video will include spoilers. One thing Revenge of the Sith had, which neither of its immediate predecessors did, was genuine emotion. Anakin and Obi-Wan's friendship is a far cry from their frankly uncomfortable dynamic in Attack of the Clones.
And you will pay attention to my lead.
Why? What?
Their interactions in this film support the older Obi-Wan's claims in A New Hope.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy, and a cunning warrior. I understand you've become quite a good pilot yourself. And he was a good friend.
The scene where the two unknowingly part company for the last time as friends is actually sad.
Obi-Wan, may the Force be with you.
Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.
Anakin and Padme's relationship is clearly developed also. Their connection in this film feels far more real. This scene, devoid of any dialogue, creates a powerful and strong bond between the couple through a beautifully subtle moment, proving that George Lucas can actually be restrained. In fact, I would go so far as to say that this scene may be my favourite moment from the entire prequel trilogy. At the same time, the execution of Order 66 is truly upsetting to watch. Seeing the clone troopers turn on their Jedi General so unquestioningly is heartbreaking. The tone, as numerous characters are dispatched, is appropriately grim. I even felt a hint of compassion towards Newt Gunray as he was mercilessly cut down by the newly turned Darth Vader.
The war is over. Lord Sidious promised us peace. We only want...
Maybe not every moment hits the emotional note intended, but the point is you do actually feel something watching this film. The prequel trilogy has constantly, and often deservedly, been criticised for wooden acting. In particular, Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin Skywalker.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
However, Christensen's performance in Revenge of the Sith, while not flawless, is a vast improvement on Attack of the Clones.
Anakin Skywalker, I was expecting someone with your reputation to be a little older.
General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected.
Indeed, when Anakin learns Padme is pregnant, Christensen displays a complex array of emotions appropriate to the situation.
Annie, I'm pregnant.
That's wonderful.
Many feel that Padme was woefully underused in this film, and that she was too emotional. Ignoring the obvious fact the character was pregnant throughout most of the film, nearly all the offending scenes take place within the isolation of her own apartment, in the company of her husband. Everyone relaxes more around their loved ones and within the security of their own home. Furthermore, when the Senator is seen engaging in political situations, her focus is solely on her duty.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
I do agree the character was somewhat underused, despite Natalie Portman receiving second billing for some reason. However, it's not all that surprising when you consider most of her scenes were cut from the finished film, as they weren't integral to the core plot. Ian McDiarmid's performance in this film confuses me. On the one hand, he manages to deliver some impressively subtle moments.
It's ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
But then there are times he seems to think he's acting in a cartoon.
No, you must die!
Revenge of the Sith was notably the first Star Wars film to exceed a PG rating. The film's darker, more mature tone was something both critics and audiences praised. Unfortunately, Lucas seemed unable, or perhaps unwilling, to fully commit to this approach, which resulted in a number of jarringly light-hearted moments.
At last, the Jedi are no more. Not if anything to say about it I have.
Possibly the best example of this is the film's cartoonish depiction of battle droids. Admittedly, the Clankers never felt like the most intimidating opponents in the galaxy, but in this film they often come across as decidedly silly, rather than a credible threat. There is a constant sense of finality throughout the entire film. As events unfold, you cannot help but feel that things will never, or perhaps can never, be the same again. By necessity, given its chronological placement in the overall saga, the film ends on a rather depressing note. Yes, I know the final shot is meant to evoke a sense of hope, but for a full decade this was the final Star Wars saga film released. Even if it was chronologically succeeded by a trilogy with a far more uplifting ending, leaving things in such a dark place was bold. The action throughout is consistently engaging, barring a few over-choreographed or under-choreographed fight scenes. The opening scene finally delivers on the franchise's title. We'd previously seen Star skirmishes, even Star battles, but this was the first time it felt like we were truly witnessing Star Wars. The CGI in this film, though admittedly overused, is impressive. One thing I noted while rewatching the film was the background activity on Coruscant. No matter what is happening in the main plot, city life continues uninterrupted. It's a subtle thing, but it feels realistic. Revenge of the Sith was commendably restrained when it came to its connections to the wider Star Wars saga. None of the cameos or references feel too overt or heavy-handed.
Goodbye, Chewbacca. Miss you, I will.
The film finally addressed Qui-Gon Jinn's conspicuously solid corpse in The Phantom Menace, despite other Jedi disappearing after death. Of course, despite George Lucas's constant and often unnecessary tweaks to the original trilogy, he still managed to create a few inconsistencies with this film.
Leia, do you remember your mother? Your real mother?
Just a little bit. She died when I was very young.
The decision to show the Death Star already under construction in the final moments of the film calls into question the fact that it then took 19 years to complete. Revenge of the Sith is far from a perfect film. Anakin's literal turn to the dark side felt abrupt. However, nearly everything around that moment was reasonably well handled. Anakin's close friendship with Obi-Wan, his love for Padme, his lingering and growing doubts about the Jedi Order, his manipulation at the hands of Palpatine. Then later his anger-fueled massacre of the Separatist leaders. And finally, his descent into full-blown power lust.
I have brought peace to the Republic. I am more powerful than the Chancellor. I can overthrow him. And together, you and I can rule the galaxy. Make things the way we want them to be.
Unfortunately, internet culture has made it almost impossible to watch this film without constantly thinking of the various memes that it has spawned.
Hello there.
Nevertheless, I would encourage you to give it another go. Revenge of the Sith, like all things Star Wars, is available through Amazon. You can access it via the link below, and as always, if you do, you'll be helping out the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this film, the prequels, or Star Wars in general in the comments. But please, keep it civilized, and may the Force be with you. If you liked this video, why not give it a thumbs up? Maybe share it with a friend. or an enemy. Either way, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications to see more content here on Channel 73.